It should not be about offers. It should not be about your new showrooms. It should not be about the new products you are introducing. As a consumer, I don't join your page to know about what you are doing in your life. I can go to your website and figure out. I join your page because I want you to give me something which is of interest to me. So 80% content should be of interest to the target group that you are talking to. It should not have anything to do with the brand. Do not mention the brand name in 80% content. Don't try to bring the brand connect. Don't think like a brand manager. Think like a community manager. Try to create value for the community. If 80% time you create value for the community, 20% time community will allow you to talk about your brand. That is like a 80-20 mix. So 80% content should be meant for the TG. Hopefully 20% of the time, community is ready to receive your brand message. So we discussed A and B, how to work on A, how to work on B, and how to build content. What about C? C is like a big universe, right? If you are saying there are 60 million people on Facebook, and my circle A is 1000, and my circle B is 2 lakh, how big is circle C? 60 million minus 2 lakh, it's a big circle. How do I go and engage with them? Whatever I have learned in the listening exercise, if I found some very interesting blog where my TG is there, I found some interesting forum, interesting portal, find a way to go there and engage people in conversation. It's like suppose I found a club of youngsters in Andheri, okay, and there's another club in Matunga which is also a club of youngsters. What will I do? Every once in a while I will go for their meetings. I will meet people there. I will give out my business card, hoping that somebody may come and join my club house. That's exactly what you do in Circle C. You try to go to other places where your TG is manifesting. You find a way to engage with them, not by putting out brand messages, by participating in the conversation, hoping that they get to engage with you, and hoping some of them come back and join your community. That's how you focus on Circle C. When you join some other conversation, if you don't have expertise, intermediate information. Okay. If there's a conversation going on, you're not very sure how to participate, you can go to Google, do a search, find something interesting, and maybe make it available. Okay, so you can intermediate information. There's a very interesting bullet that says intercept competitor conversation. Let's take the example of a guy who puts out a tweet saying, I'm looking for the address of Nokia shop in Andheri. Obviously he wants to buy a Nokia phone. And let's say I'm working for a company like BlackBerry, and I pick up this tweet. What should be my reaction? What should I do? I know there's a guy looking for a Nokia phone, and I'm selling a competing product. What should I do? Nobody?
Comparison.
Comparison? What else?
Comparison.
Give comparison. What else can I do?
Discount.
Discount. What else can I do?
An exchange
Exchange.
for your old Nokia.
Go back to slide number 1. Be social. What's the meaning of being social?
Right. Right.
So what shall I do?
Provide give address.
Exactly. That is exactly what you should do. If I am Sony, I should give the guy Nokia's address. Saying here is Nokia's address. What do you think the behavior will be of the consumer? His behavior is, boss, Nokia guys never came and gave me the address. Sony guys are giving me the address. Let me at least check out that product. The guy was going to go somewhere. You managed to get your brand into his consideration set. Nokia can't come and scream at you because you gave them the address and you did your job. So if you keep applying the filter of being social, you will keep getting all your answers right. But if you intercept the conversation and say, boss, come and buy Sony, this guy will get damn upset. Say, boss, you're intruding my privacy. What business you have to answer to me? You understand? Put yourself on the other side of the consumer and see how the reaction will be. You want to go somewhere, somebody has to drive you, you don't want to do it. You want to go somewhere, somebody helps you, you want to go back and turn around and see who helped you. So apply those filters very, very, I said carry those adjectives with you, that's what I meant. Keep applying those filters when you start planning your social media strategy.
What do you mean by intermediate information that you don't have?
Yeah, intermediate means if I don't have the information, I go and find it from somewhere and give it.
Okay.
That's meant by intermediate information. Connect with influencers. Social media is not about my Facebook page, my Twitter account, my YouTube. That is one part of social media. Real social media comes at work when other people start talking about it. People who are either advocates or people who are influencers.
How do you?
I'm telling you, 2-3 minutes. Absolutely. So first we need to understand the difference between a brand advocate and a brand influencer. Who's a brand advocate? A brand advocate is a brand loyalist. He's the one who's buying your products every day. He may not be a great guy with a large Twitter follower. Okay? He's a guy who basically keeps buying your product every day. He's a brand advocate. Okay, try to identify brand advocates, either from the offline world or from your Facebook page. Okay, you create a Facebook page of 1 million fans. What to do with 1 million fans? 1 million fans are not 1 million customers. So typically what you do is you go and do segmentation. You try to identify all those guys who come to your page every day. They like every update, they comment on everything. They are fans of your brand. They are advocates. Identify them, pull them separately, make a private club of those guys digitally. Give them content, give them coupons, treat them well. They are the ones who will go and talk about you. When your brand is under pressure, they will come and defend you. They are your brand advocates. So one is learn to nurture brand advocates. We built a Facebook page of 1 million people, not hoping to sell to 1 million customers, but hoping to find those 5,000 guys who are really my brand advocates. And then I engage with them and they create advocacy for me. Okay, that's the first thing to do. Second is to identify category influencers. Who are people because of whom this category gets influenced? Gone are the days where the influence remained only with Times of India or Economic Times. Individual people also influence. If Rajiv Masan says a movie is good, the movie is good. If he says it's bad, it's bad. Okay, so there are individuals in every category, healthcare category, technology category, entertainment category. If they promote your brand, if they speak good about your brand, it does wonders for your brand. Those are the influencers. So go and find those influencers. How will you find those influencers? These are all the ways to find those influencers. First, go and look for them offline. You know, when we think of an online strategy, we seem to forget there's a world beyond online also. Okay, there's an offline world. So if I'm doing something for a car brand, for example, I'll pick up all those car magazines which get printed. At least 20 magazines come out every month, right? Autocar and Autocar India and Car Bombay, whatever it is. And find who are the people who write articles. Okay, whose articles get read well. I will identify those guys. I will go and find out where is their Twitter handle, where is their LinkedIn profile, where is their blog, what do they do on the internet. First way to find influencers. Second way, you will use a listening tool. Remember 3-4 slides back, I told you run a listening program. Using the listening program, find out who are influencers for your category. Start engaging with those guys. Who's an influencer? Somebody who has a large Twitter follower, who has a very well-known blog. People write on the blog. He has a good LinkedIn account. These are guys who are influencers. Once you aggregate their influencers, map their social graph. What does this guy do? What does he do on Twitter? What does he do on blog? What does he do on Facebook? What does he do on LinkedIn? Map the social graph. And then find a way how to engage with this guy. So how do you engage with this guy? Suppose you find a good influencer on Twitter. Okay, start following his tweets. Every once in a while, retweet his tweet. What happens when you retweet his tweet? He'll come back and see who did it. All of us have the habit, right? The first thing is here on Facebook page, किस-किसने like दिया है? किस-किसने comment मारा है? Right? We all do that. And people who do it regularly, you start developing a gratitude for that. So when you start engaging with influencers, okay, and putting out his tweets or retweets, hopefully he'll also come back and engage with you at some point. And then make available to him some interesting content which he feels like putting. So any social media strategy you do must have an influencer engagement strategy. Beyond building your own outposts, you also need to be able to go out and reach to a whole lot of people. And the final slide is that, you know, when you look at social or digital engagement, it is all about content. Okay, the only thing that connects a consumer to a brand is content. And there is so much content out there. Every second, few lakhs of tweets are put out. Every minute, a few lakh Facebook updates happen. Every day, million new blogs are put out. There is so much content. Okay, why should the consumer engage with your content? So every brand, whether we like it or not, is now going to become a content factory. Will require tons and tons of content, PDF files, PowerPoint presentation, YouTube videos, Facebook updates. It is content that really helps a consumer engage to a brand. So all of us have to start thinking in terms of what content can I put out, which will help my consumer engagement to happen. The content you put out, of course, needs to be sharp, needs to be very, very engaging. And you have to keep in mind, content is all about storytelling. Okay, marketing is about storytelling. How can you tell a story? Okay, you see those very brilliant TV commercials, you know, where a boy comes back from school and says, "Papa, हम लोग vacation के लिए क्यों नहीं गए?" And Papa says, "EMI कम हो गया, vacation के लिए जाएंगे." It's a story, right? We all engage with the story. Within the story, you embed the brand message. So when you get onto social media, think of a story. What is going to be my big story, which I will carry through all my platforms? And somewhere in the story, I keep on weaving my brand message. So as people keep engaging with the story, they're actually engaging with my brand. Okay, so that's about how to build a social media strategy. I hope all of you are now very good social media strategists. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you.
May I?
Sure.
You know, in terms of what you said about going from circle A to circle B, it occurs to me that one very effective, perhaps the most effective way of doing that would be to give a value offer to your circle A, which they would be required, for example, to post on their Facebook page, which would be visible to their friends who are your TG. This and here I would also draw a correlation with what Sid said a little while ago, which is the fact is that when you acquire a new consumer, the way to calculate it is that you're investing, in something which will give returns in the future. I think in India, unfortunately today, that's a very hard sell. But actually, this would be perhaps the most effective way of growing your circle A and circle B.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you create some kind of a value proposition,
Yeah.
okay, for circle A, which makes like pyramid shape of circle B, it's brilliant.
But companies in India, unfortunately, they have a mental block in terms of social media expenditure and.
So I think the block starts from not being able to understand how social media manifests.
Yeah.
You see, a lot of companies, they just keep on putting offers after offers after offers. Why would I join your Facebook page to get brand communication?
Exactly.
Okay, so the starting point is not understanding that social is different from traditional communication. Your mindset has to change. And once that mindset change happens, your whole manifestation starts happening correctly.
Also, the
Facebook offers, for example, works very well. Facebook, exactly taking this example, has created a product called Facebook Offers. Okay, you can actually create an offer, promote it to Circle A. If anybody from Circle A picks up the offer, immediately Circle B gets to hear about it. Exactly, monetizing the concept you're putting in.
How would one come across this particular app you're saying?
So when you go to Facebook, it gives you advertising options. On your Facebook page at the bottom, there's a link called advertising. When you go to advertising options, you'll get plenty of options. So you can create like a promoted post, a stamp pad, or a Facebook offer. Okay, from there you can run Facebook offers.
What is the name of the free listing tool you mentioned earlier?
Social Mention. Social Mention is a free listing. Yes.
And this also proved out to be dangerous because, on one hand we are talking about building a community. The main intention again would remain that, over a period of time it would result in maybe a brand building or maybe a sale. But maybe, what we've seen is one, the satisfied customer, and then it reaches to the complete community. In no time, the effect is
Absolutely, it can. So if you look at the customer satisfaction curve for any brand, typically you'll find like a bell curve.
No, because what I'm coming from is I had seen a person making a community saying harassed by Flipkart. Okay. And it had a Flipkart logo with the cross. And he was inviting people to join that group, and last what I saw was somewhere around 20,000 guys. So on one hand, you're trying to build a brand, and maybe for some reason, the expectations of the customers are like, so today if they expect something, tomorrow they may expect something else. So the moment you stop them once, and then if similar activity starts, the customers now are smart. We've seen people shopping online on my website, my company's website, who are from the competition, and they start talking bad about us, right? And that's how it spreads, and then you don't have any control on.
Can I answer the question?
Yeah.
So if you look at customer satisfaction curve, it is typically like a bell curve. Okay, where you will find 80% people basically sit in the middle, they are neutral. And there are 10% people who are unhappy irrespective of what you do. And there are 10% people who are happy irrespective of what you do. The challenge is that can you give a microphone in the hand of these 10% people who will advocate your brand? Okay, if there is negativity, anything the brand says will not kill negativity. Okay, it is only positivity by your advocates that can help kill negativity. Social media is that platform. Can you find those 10% guys who really believe in your brand? They believe in your product? If you are saying there is 0% people there, you have a product issue. It's not a social media issue, right? But if you have a 10% people who are happy about your product, can you encourage them to talk good things about your brand? That is the only way you can handle negativity in social media. Second point, okay, whether you get onto Facebook or not, this guy will still go and create a page. So and so brand sucks. So just because you close your eyes and ears doesn't mean the world doesn't exist. It still exists. It's all the more important to be out there, willing to talk to people, engage with you. Second thing, keep in mind, all of us, sitting in this room, all of us are marketeers and consumers at the same time. If you just keep inverting your position, you keep getting the answers you are looking for. What is it that ticks off a customer the most? Lack of response from a brand. Okay, as a brand, you can go and commit murder. Just say, sorry, we consumers are very forgiving, forget about it. But if you don't get replied to, that really pisses you. So you need to be able to pick up all these negative conversations, find a way to engage, okay, find a way to defend yourself when necessary. Suppose customer has a very high expectation, go out there and defend your brand, no harm. And if you have committed a mistake, be humble enough to apologize. So you need to learn that social media is like a necessary thing. Just because your page is not there, doesn't mean problem will vanish. Might as well be out there. Use your page to actually build advocacy. Find those 10% guys who believe in you. When they start shouting good things about you, it will kill the negative.
Taking from his point, wouldn't it be a good idea to actually go on your own and create a community for people to complain about?
About somebody else.
So I won't say create a community for people to complain about,
In a way to
but give them
create
an
awareness.
opportunity where they can engage with you and get their problems resolved. I would
Like
put it in
somebody
that
creating a
language.
bashing up page, you
Okay.
create your own bashing
So
page.
broadly what you would do is on your Facebook page, you'll create a tab, which is called as customer care.
You put more
And you will tell people, boss, if you have a problem, come and look at it. Go and look at what Walmart has done. Okay, they have exactly this kind of a tab where every complaint that is there remains on the tab. And it also remains how fast they resolve the complaint. Okay, so you are being completely transparent, saying, boss, I am a big brand, problems will happen. I am happy to listen to you. Wherever I can resolve, I will resolve it for you. Now think of yourself like a consumer. Isn't that a good enough brand promise? Good enough brand.
So it all depends on how you take it,
Yeah.
how you develop the
I don't think there's a matter of choice. There's only one way to take it. There is no second way to take it.
Harish, it reminds me of the recent Vishal Gondal case where he had gone and given his BMW for
Yeah.
servicing.
Yeah.
And it had a mobile messaging. And he got tracks of all that the vehicle that was taken out in the night and he was getting beeps. And when he went back to the BMW service station, they denied it, saying that the car was parked only inside and it was not taken out. He published he was able to go back to the service point and give a complete log of the car being taken out for a spin. And this matter went up on the online media for such a long time. Ultimately, the MD of BMW had to apologize. At the same time, Audi made a counter offer to that very good customer of BMW, and it became such a big online rage, So there are when a
So
brand does
the
not
only thing,
respond.
sir, you got the brands wrong. It's the Audi guys who messed up, and it's the BMW guys who picked up. So it's a very interesting case study where Vishal Gondal is an influencer, has a huge following on various platforms. Okay, and he had this tracker where you could keep a track of where his car goes. He sent the car for servicing. He found the car moving all over night. Next day, he contacted the company. The MD of the company says, today's Thursday, we'll get back to you by Tuesday. This guy got totally pissed off. I have a crore-rupee car out there, you're saying we'll get back to you by Tuesday, what does it mean? He went and posted all over the place, became like a big issue. BMW took advantage. They sent a free car to Vishal Gondal. He went and put up a picture of BMW. So the point is there is no choice, you have to engage, right? You have to engage very fast, very quick dynamic response.
And similarly, 3G service by Vodafone, they're also a big issue
Yes.
online.
Any more questions? Yeah.
So you were talking about key platforms and integrator platforms. How you come to know which one should be your key platform? Because social media is changing at a very fast pace now. There was Orkut some time ago, now there's Facebook. So by the time you build your platform on Orkut, Facebook comes into picture. So how you come to know that which should be your key platform?
So there's like a moment of truth at a given point of time. We need to work with that moment of truth. If the platform changes, we will need to change. Having said that, platforms are not changing that fast. I mean, Facebook is here for 7 years. Something that caters to 1 billion people is not like to vanish in a short time ever. But you see new things come up, Pinterest and Foursquare, they will keep on happening. So technology demands that you need to have multiple attention. There is no choice. Okay, thank you everyone for being a very patient.
We will take any kind of question on anything that we have covered today for the next 15-20 minutes. And while we do this, you may have a feedback. So, Harish is going to be here, Sid is here, I am here. Any specific questions? So if there is, yes.
See, I think in India, one big problem with clients and companies, I'm a creative digital marketer. One big problem is that they are not willing to invest in, as you yourself said, 2 lakhs versus so many crores, all that. What is the best way, would you all say, of addressing that?
So, you want to take that question?
So what exactly is the question? People are willing to invest money?
In online and digital, they think, oh, Kalpana ki dunia hai, vagera, and all that. So they're willing to sink crores into above the line, and they don't know which 50% is working. But as soon as you get into the online and digital space, they have all these kinds of mental
So I think the
blocks.
graph has been shifting. What you were saying 4 years back was actually true. Where to go and sell somebody digitally, it was like a 6-month sales cycle, and then finally you get the crumbs left. सब campaign हो गया, अभी 5 लाख रुपए बचा है, एक site कुछ बना दो. That was the kind of thinking. Over the last 4 years, we have seen brands graduate their spending, and almost about maybe at least 10% spend today goes to digital. And brands are becoming more and more aware of the increased lacking power of print and TV, and increased need to get on digital. So I think as a country we need to educate ourselves. A lot of marketers today don't understand digital. Okay, guys at the age of 35, 40 never touch digital. For them it's very intimidating. So the onus is on the industry to go and educate these people that what platform to choose.